Hi guys, and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 37. Ripple conquering Japan and India. Is Binance headlining the crypto market resurgence? And will the Istanbul fork break Ethereum contracts? Those are valid questions, right? Now guys, thank you for watching. Happy Friday, or Saturday night actually. Sorry, got lost on the week there. I hope you're having a great time. Enjoying your Saturday, and well, thank you for watching and tuning in. I know there's at least 3 of you tuned in right now, from what the the stream is stating, right? And we have good quality stream. That's pretty good. Anyways, guys, if you are catching this stream live, welcome. And if you are catching the replay and have any suggestions, please leave us a comment below. We really want to know what you think. If you want to keep up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure you subscribe. You hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. We are live every night, guys, so if you haven't done it yet, you should do it, right? Hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Now, if you want to keep on chatting once the stream is on, you can join us on the Discord. The link's in the description below. We have a short stream today. There's only a few news we're going to cover. I think it's 4 articles. We do have an article for Binance at the end. And we'll just basically do the chart analysis also, right? Anyways, without further ado, let's get to the news. Now, this article poses a question, right? Is cryptocurrency in the US large enough to become a topic of a presidential debate? If you look at the numbers, probably not, right? They say that less than 8% of the US population owns cryptocurrencies, and only another 8% are planning to purchase any in the future, right? So it's a very low number of people, not even 10% of the population right now. Now, the vast majority of Americans have heard of Bitcoin, but they're still struggling to understand how cryptocurrencies work right now. The number of people who believe that cryptocurrencies are a scam is higher than the number of actual cryptocurrency owners. That is what the article is stating. I am curious about the sources that they're getting this information from, or the polls that they're running to get this information. I would really liked it if they had disclosed this, as I believe it would have made it for a better coverage, right? Where the information is coming from. Now, what this article states also is that despite the low adoption rate of cryptocurrencies, companies continue to invest in blockchain technology and digital coins, and the crypto job market has been growing quickly, which could be another sign of strength and further development. And that is pretty good, because that could lead to more adoption, more people actually getting into the crypto market, which is what we ultimately want. Now, according to the article, also 40% of Americans don't trust cryptocurrencies. They're happy not having bought Bitcoin and do not plan to buy any in the future. On top of that, 1 in 4 Americans believe that digital coins are meant for illegal purchases. And that is a misconception. I mean, 25% of the population believe this, right? Again, I would like to see the sources where they're getting this information from. But 25% is a large number of people, and changing that mentality might take some time. Apparently, I had a problem with the stream. Give me 1 second. Had some drops happening. Yeah. Anyways, we'll keep on moving on, right? Yeah. Anyways, most candidates haven't decided whether they should express an opinion on crypto or not. The government has taken cryptocurrency in the US seriously enough to create a legal framework for political donations in Bitcoin. Now, the Federal Election Commission allows politicians to receive cryptocurrency as contributions, and that is pretty interesting. We can learn a lot about the candidates' attitudes toward crypto from this, right? But right now, only one presidential candidate is accepting Bitcoin donations, and that is Andrew Yang. Now, for now, he's, like I said, the only candidate who understands blockchain, apparently, and cryptocurrencies and how they could change the way we make payments, right? Because no one else is accepting them. And someone asks, I mean, I don't want to diss on the candidates, but someone as old as Bernie Sanders probably will have a harder time understanding cryptocurrencies than maybe a younger candidate. And even then, only one of them is accepting them, right? Anyways, let's move on to market cap. Yesterday, we had a green day, right? We gained some market, some money flowing into the market, right? 2.37% up, closing at $259 billion right now, still going up 0.20%, sitting at $259.6 billion. And that is pretty good. We had a couple of red days, right? Dominance wise, we can see that whatever flew out yesterday just came back in today, and we're making another slightly green day right now. Again, the day just started 2 hours ago. And yeah, we still have 22 hours to go and see where this takes us, right? Now, on to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin yesterday lost dominance, and that's pretty good because that means alts are gaining dominance, right? Bitcoin losing 0.67% and today losing 0.03%. Yesterday from an opening of 72.99%, closing at 72.51, and right now sitting at 72.49. Will alts be able to take more dominance? I certainly hope so. It would certainly balance the scales, right? Now, we don't have article for Bitcoin today, so we're just gonna jump straight into the Bitcoin chart. What are we doing on the Bitcoin chart, right? On the daily, we are still within that downsloping channel between the 75% and the 100% of the equidistant channel, downsloping. Basically, we're flagging, but on a bearish trend, basically, right? But we're flagging after a large impulse up, and this is pretty healthy, right? We have made a triangle of sorts. We'll see it in the other chart, and this could mean potential price action to upside or downside right now. Really, we haven't been able to tell where the market's going to be because we have seen a lot of indecision going on. Now, as you can see, right, this is triangle, this green, this green line here, and this yellow line here of that downsloping channel that represents that equidistant channel that we had on the other chart, make this larger triangle, which is where we're sitting at right now. Let's see what's going on the weekly. Let's look at the weekly because not today, but tomorrow we'll close the week, and we really want to know what is going on, right? We'll actually even look at the monthly right now. Month just started like 7 days ago, right? But we had 2 red months, and now we're making a nice green month, and that's pretty good. Engulfing, right? 1 and almost the second month. Let's wait and see how this month takes us because engulfing, bullish engulfing on the monthly could be really good for us. Now, again, on the weekly, right? We are making a bullish engulfing candle, basically engulfing the past 2 weeks, which means we're making up a lot of that money that we lost the past 2 weeks, and it could be good. After a bullish engulfing candle, we have seen certain indecision going on, but usually after a bullish engulfing candle, we can expect a bullish movement to continue, potentially bring us to more price action to the upside, breaking out of this triangle, which would put us again on that week of September, maybe closing around September the 15th, when maybe we're expecting to make that move, right? And a couple days or a week before the actual launch of the Backed, right? The ETFs for Bitcoin on ICE. Now again, let's go on the daily. We're sitting up at that 20 MA. Momentum starting to stagnate. A couple minutes ago, it was actually green, but that's fine. We still have a whole 22 hours to go. Let's see where this takes us. And we're sitting relatively neutral on the RSI at 52. Right now, there's not much we could chart here, right? We had charted some sort of a... Really, not much we can chart here with what we have. Data on here. I mean, still, we could take a drop, right? And it wouldn't be unheard of or anything bad. We still can go and touch this bottom part of that triangle, and that'll be fine. We have some supports here and here. Around the 10,200 area and the 9,700 area, and that's fine. We can also run up, touch that upper part of the triangle, confirming that resistance before we actually break out of it, and that could also be fine. Let's go on to the 4 hours and see what we can look at there, right? We had that bearish divergence develop that we talked about yesterday, and we also posted it on the Discord for those of you that are there. You will certainly see what is going on, right? 5 people watching right now. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Please let us know what you think, right? We're glad to know what's going on, and yeah. Anyways, right now, sitting below that 20 MA, we were rejected by it in the past 4 hours. Right now, we kind of run up to it, but we didn't quite touch it, and we're rejecting it as well. And that could be certainly bearish because we haven't been able to break past it in the last 3 candles, right? We kind of went above it, but then we dropped down below it. So in the past, let's say, not 12 hours, but at least 10 hours, we haven't been able to go above that 20 MA. If we are not able to go above that 20 MA soon, we might drop. We might see a drop, right? Momentum starting to stagnate, go to neutral. MACD line about maybe in the next 12 hours or so, we might get a cross of the MACD over the signal line, which could make potential positive momentum. Sitting neutral on the RSI at 52 as well, right? So could run to the upside or downside. I mean, momentum has not. Just because we're making less negative momentum doesn't mean we cannot start making negative momentum again, right? Like here, we kind of stopped, stagnate a little bit, started to decrease, and then we started making another more negative momentum, right? And that is completely normal. However, I would expect us to see neutral and maybe some price action to the upside. We are using apparently this channel, this upsloping channel, as a sort of support again. We've broken out of it. We've broken out of it here. We didn't want to adjust it because we believed we could go back into it. We did. We broke down of it slightly, used this 10,200 area as sort of support, bounced back into that channel. We were rejecting it a little bit, but then we actually broke into it, and that's fine. Now we are remaining above it, and it could potentially just carry us up until we touch this upper resistance again, right? And again, that will be fine. Let's go on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we have something else. I can chart something here on the 4 hours, and it will hold on the other one. And it's something that we really don't want to see, and I kind of skipped over it. We could do a parallel channel, probably from here to here and here. And we really don't want to see this because that would mean upsloping consolidation, and upsloping consolidation usually means it's bearish, right? And we could see price action to the downside. Still, so it's a form of exhaustion, right? Not able to make higher prices. But still, right now where we're sitting on the other side with the indecision that we're looking at the market, we could break to either side, right? Upside or downside. However, if we drop to the downside, we already talked about potential resistances, right? Like 10,200 and then 9,700. We go to the upside, we already, supports. And if we break up to the upside, we already talked about the resistances, right? We could potentially run all the way up here and hit resistance, right? Around this area. The 10,900, then psychological resistance at 11,000, and then definitely around 11,100 or so, this part of the triangle, right? Depending on when we hit it. What else? Let's see, on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, chart's not loading. Really? Oh, there we go. Bollinger Bands weren't there. Sitting above that 20 MA, which is pretty good. We haven't gone down and touched it. Sitting below that 50% line of that channel we just traced. Making less positive momentum. About to get a cross of the MACD over the under, basically, the signal line, which could potentially mean price action to the downside. Again, we could go and touch here and then bounce back. Or maybe we can go down here and then bounce back and make some potential bullish divergence that could take us to price action to the upside. Still yet to be determined. Sitting quite neutral on the RSI at 52 as well. We're sitting at 52 on the daily, on the 4 hours, and on the 1 hour. So again, we could go to either side, right? Indecision in the market, right? Go down a little bit, we go up a little bit. We're down a little bit, we go up a little bit. We haven't been able to really determine where we want to go. And again, a lot of expectations, right, going on. Yeah. Anyways, that'll be it for Bitcoin right now. Upsloping channel, that's all I could do right now. We had this downsloping channel. We said we could, it would be price action to the upside yesterday. It was too small of a pattern. We did see it, right? We're consolidating upwards, but we really don't want to consolidate like that. If we were to break it, I would expect to see more volume and then a little bit more violently, and then we would have broken that upsloping channel. Right now, we are just flagging, and this is like a bear flag. And yeah, like I said, potentially break to the downside, right? Just keep that in mind when you're setting up, and if you're tracking the market, just keep it in mind that we could go down and see lower prices again. Right, and yeah. Anyways, let's go on to Ethereum. Right, on Ethereum, like at August 23rd Ethereum core developments meeting, Martin Swindy spoke about the ramifications of Ethereum Improvement Proposal, or EIP 1884, one of 6 changes being made as part of the 8th Ethereum hard fork, right, Istanbul. Stating that it could break things theoretically. He actually said that. So the test hard fork will go ahead around October the 2nd, but they declined to state a block number for the mainnet in case more things break than expected, right? They really don't know how this is going to affect it, right? EIP 1884 will raise the gas cost of underpriced opcodes. So basically the instructions within smart contracts, right? The argument for doing so is straightforward. At least that's what they're arguing, right? As the size of Ethereum network expands, certain smart contracts used by dApps are using a lot of computing power but pay relatively little in terms of gas cost to compensate, right? That discrepancy creates vulnerabilities. It could be used for attacks by filling blocks with underpriced operations, which cause excessive block processing time. Now, underpriced opcodes cause a skewed block gas limit where sometimes like blocks finish quickly, but other blocks with similar gas use finish slowly, right? Now, if the operations are well balanced, we can maximize the block's gas limit and have a more stable processing time, and that could be pretty good. Now, the problem, however, is that some of the contracts are coded in a way that relies on gas costs staying the same, right? And that's a problem because contracts should consider that the cost of processing could change, right? Thus creating a higher cost or a lesser cost sometimes, and they should keep that flexibility, locking contracts into a fixed gas cost. It's problematic, right? Also, Swindy also noted that the EIP 1884 basically is implemented. It's going to implement default functions that could fail, disabling wallets or only allowing payments below a certain limit, right? And that's certainly a problem that could happen with Ethereum with this hard fork. Let's wait and see how that test goes on October, and then we might have a better picture as to what might happen, right? Anyways, on. Hi HML, how's it going, man? Thank you for subscribing. I noticed you are our latest sub. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. I'm glad that you showed up, man. Again, thank you for being here, man. Now, onto Ethereum dominance. On the daily, right? What's happening with Ethereum? Yesterday, right? We had a nice green we gained some dominance, right? Nice green candle. Going up 2.79%. Right now, still making a green candle, 0.12%, which we like to see this, right? Still sitting below that 8%, which is low for dominance. But, Ethereum being the second largest coin, we would really want to see this take up more of that market so that, we can stand up a little bit to the fluctuations that Bitcoin is causing, right? Now let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum right now, $178.61. Thanks, man. Yeah, I try to keep it very neutral, man. On everything. I do hold some of these coins, but I try to not have favorites because I really want to be very neutral as to what might happen, right, upside or downside, whether things are good or bad. So if I find an article that is very or trying to seed FUD, I would try to counter it with an article that it's basically positive, so that people can actually make up their own decisions. I really don't want to influence anyone to either side, but yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it might be, but but thank you, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, I really want to keep things as neutral as possible, right? And trust me, I do hold some coins. I don't hold Litecoin, and I still cover it. Right now I'm not holding Binance, and I still cover it. I'm not holding Ethereum right now, but I still cover it. I hold some Bitcoin, I hold some Ripple, but I also try to be very neutral, right? I don't try to be over positive on that. I want to keep a middle ground so that people can be well informed and not be super optimistic and yeah, it's gonna go to the moon, it's better to be grounded, right, on reality, and yeah, keep expectations, but within the realm of possibility, right? Things that might happen short term, and let's start building small blocks, and then we can get to something much bigger, right? Anyways, Ethereum price, right? We are still sitting outside of that wedge. We didn't break up with a lot of strength or volume. Sitting below the 20 MA, we were rejected by it twice, right? Or nearly touched it twice. We haven't been able to break above it. We have that MACD line over the signal line. We are making a positive momentum still, which is good. We are not making a sort of divergence yet. Nope. And we are sitting low on the RSI at 43 with, again, potential move to the upside or downside. 43 is around that neutral zone, right? 60 to 40 is neutral. Then 60 to 70 or 40 to 30 would be on a bullish or bearish side, and then we could go either overbought or oversold. So right now we could run to either side. Basically we're gonna follow what Bitcoin does, right? As we've been stating it, and everyone kind of sort of has been doing it, following Bitcoin around. Even though altcoins have been primed by developing strong bullish divergence, we have not really been able to have that move because basically Bitcoin is keeping us at bay, because a lot of speculation is going on around Bitcoin, right? And what might happen once BACT launches, right? And once we get into middle of September or so, we might start getting some speculation around Ripple, because we're gonna have the swell event coming in October. So again, generating speculation around the market, right? So we might see some movements on Ripple soonish. Upside or downside still yet to be determined, but depending on what rumors start floating around, we might start to see reactions, right? Anyways, let's go Ethereum and look at it on the 4 hours. Everything in the 4 hours, right? We had a nice run up, better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't have that run up. It was less, right? But again, look, Bitcoin had this nice run up on these candles in the 4 hours, right? But Ethereum didn't get them, right? Ethereum didn't get that high, right? Right now, Bitcoin didn't go as high, but Ethereum gained dominance. That's why we're seeing it, maybe more money flowing into it, having that basically go up a little bit more. Right now, I'm not really worried because we're not making a bearish divergence yet, which is good. We had a cross of the MACD line over the signal line. That's pretty good. Usually when we get those crosses, we can expect a large movement, right? Sitting high on the RSI at 60.16, we could see some movement to the downside. We're sitting high, but not overbought, right? But high on the bot scale, let's say. Again, making positive momentum, that's pretty good. However, this rally, remember, there's reaction rallies, right? We have a drop, we have a reaction rally. Same opposite could happen, right? We can get a pullback. Just keep in mind, we broke that 20 MA, then we came back, tested it as support, and then basically bounced off it, right? And that's pretty good. Still, keep in mind, if we drop, we could go to that 20 MA. I'm going to extend this channel the same way it was, basically, so that, see, also that channel was used as support, right? Confirming that we've broken out of it. Now we are sort of making a small flag up here. Right now, when we look at the 1 hour, we will be able to determine what kind of flag we're making. So impulse up, we have to consolidate, and then we might make a move again, right? Let's go on the 1 hour and see what this is doing, right? On the 1 hour, man, we went out of the scale. We went into overbought territory, right? So potential movement to the downside. We are getting it. We are resetting the oscillator. That is fine. The 1 hour is a smaller time frame, which is pretty cool. Making less negative momentum, less positive momentum. Sorry, going back to neutral. We might get a cross of the MACD under the signal line, and again, we might get an impulse to the downside. Like I said, we could come back and touch that 20 MA or again the channel, right? That we just broken out of. So just keep in mind as you place your trades. Right now, let's see, we could say that we are making a sort of yeah, we're making like a down sloping triangle, right? That will be it, and that's what I want to call it right now. It's too short of a pattern yet. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, like 10 hours developing, right? Not very long. And again, triangles are more or less neutral, right? So we could break to the upside or downside. This is not really telling us much. We're just flagging in a consolidation pattern that would apparently signal price movement to the upside. I would hope so. Then again, we could gain more dominance tomorrow. And let's see how this keeps on playing out for Ethereum, right? On to the Ripple news. There's not many news that came out today. So, I mean, I'm sorry that the stream might go actually shorter. But if you guys have questions, feel free to put them on the chat. And I'll address them as soon as I can, right? Basically, this is the only article that I found on Ripple that was not either FUD or analysis, which is pretty good. Hey, we get another viewer. Hi, viewer number 7. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Now, basically, this one is just stating that the XRP community or basically that XRP continues to make waves around the world, right? With basically several of the projects advancing now. In Ripple Drop episode 15, the co-founder Chris Larsen spoke about how blockchain and crypto assets help build the internet of value, and that's pretty good. Oh, we gained 2 more. Hi, watchers. Thank you for tuning in. Internet value, right? Larsen explained that blockchain provides infrastructure for moving value around the world, right? And we know that Ripple wants to do this. Basically, by reducing the friction cost of sending money, right? And solving that whole, like, Vostra Nostra account problem that we have. Basically, not we, but the banks have, right? Keeping all that money in stock for transactions to clear, right? So the article says that digital assets are not feasible unless there is blockchain in the first place, and that is true. Most of these depend on blockchain and distributed ledger technologies for them to work properly, right? To keep all the information public and in order, and basically matched around the world. Now, the existence of cryptocurrencies is extremely important, and it helps reduce liquidity cost. We talked about that right now, right? Reducing that friction cost of sending payments, and Ripple certainly reduces that immensely, right? It costs you very little to send a lot of money, and that's pretty good. Larsen admits that fiat currencies are likely to remain the dominant ones, but they can still make use of cryptocurrencies to enable straightforward translation of value. Now, regulatory clarity in regards of cryptocurrencies is still basically absent in the US. We have seen some other countries that have taken a stance on crypto, and they're either declaring themselves pro-crypto or against crypto, and some of them are actually even helping drive up adoption, right? Anyways, the lack of regulation damages innovations, and the founders of these technologies basically tend to hold them back, right? And yeah, we talked about that on the first article. Some people don't want to get into crypto because they don't understand it, and a lot of people just basically think it's bad news because the media hasn't been able to understand it as well, or the main media hasn't been able to understand it, and basically they just have reported the bad news and not the good news, right? Because let's say bad news sell more than good news, right? That's what they're always selling, fear on the main media, right? Selling shootings and selling fires and panicking people, because that's what sells. That people, not everyone, but a lot of people are morbid by nature, and they want to watch all those news, right? They don't care if, like, the economy, well, some do, but the economy is bad, or if, they want the fear of the trade war, right? That's why they call it a war, because man, they get caught by that, right? So that's the way they push news. Right now, basically all of India's banks seem to be interested in XRP, in the XRP's potential, and basically are interested in using the XCurrent to benefit from it. Remember, XCurrent does not necessarily use the XRP token. It could use it, but that's not the main Ripple solution to use that, right? The XRapid uses the XRP token. XCurrent could use it, but not necessarily. Mainly uses fiat. Right now, there were reports, and we covered them yesterday, that basically 61 of Japan's 200 banks are open or basically preparing to use Ripple XRP, driving up more adoption. Again, it could be good for the market. For XRP, more transactions to start to move through the network using the token could help drive up volume into the market and create more price action, right? However, remember, every transaction that goes through the network has to have a canceling action, right? So you buy XRP, drive the price up. You sell XRP, drive the price down, right? So if you do it in 2 exchanges, you're gonna have exchanges where you're getting like flips, right? But in the end, the exchanges are gonna have to balance out. So just keep it in mind. At first, not necessarily means that the price is gonna go up just because banks are adopting it. Anyways, the article goes on to say that XRP and Ripple seem to have managed to leave a strong impression in Asia, with basically banks from many different countries showing interest in cross-border payment technology, right? We know that Asia also has a lot of remittances that go through, and that's why SBI wanted to use Ripple, right? Okay, cool. Let's go look at the Ripple chart. Dominance, Ripple on the daily. Ripple gained some dominance yesterday, 0.99%. Right now, losing dominance, 0.24%, sitting at 4.31. Right now, price of Ripple sitting at 0.26 cents. Actually, if you want the 5 digits, it's 0.26049. Right now, we had a nice green candle, still within that down sloping channel that we traced. Have not been able to break out of it. Getting some resistance at that 20 MA, making positive momentum again. Signal line starting to separate a little bit more from the MACD line starting to separate a little bit more from the signal line. That's fine, and sitting low on the RSI at 42. We are in that neutral territory that we were talking about. Now let's go on the 4 hours, right? On the 4 hours, we are sitting above that 20 MA. Again, really short of a pattern to call it something right now. I would rather chart this on the 1 hour because we might get better touch points. But right now, we would seem to be making a pennant. Again, potential bullish pattern with price action to the upside. Making positive momentum. We had that cross of the MACD over the signal line. That's fine. Sitting high on the RSI at 57.55. Again, we are high on the RSI. Not too high, but again, on that neutral zone, right? On the 1 hour. Oh, look, that pennant seems to hold. Just going to fix it a little bit to get better touch points. We're making a symmetrical triangle. Again, it's a neutral pattern. Could break to the upside or downside. If we break to the downside, I would expect us to test that 20 MA at first. If we break to the upside again, we could make a measure move of the triangle, and that would be where we might hit, right? Which could coincide with the top of the Bollinger Bands. Volatility open on the Bollinger Bands, that's fine. Momentum starting to stagnate, going back to neutral, and sitting high on the RSI at 62, right? We went into overbought territory, but now we are resetting that oscillator, and that's fine. We want to see that before we run up again, or potentially run up again, right? No news for Litecoin, so we're just going to jump into the chart as well. Litecoin dominance on the daily. Litecoin gained some dominance yesterday and today. Yesterday gaining 3.74%. Right now gaining 0.11%, sitting at 1.66% of market dominance. Price of Litecoin is at $69.15. What's going on with Litecoin, right? We have sort of broken out of that downsloping wedge, not with a lot of volume or a hard movement, so we could break back into it. Still within that downsloping channel that we traced, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands. We haven't been able to break over that 20 MA or close a candle above it. That's fine. We're making more positive momentum. Same thing that's going on with Ripple, right? MACD over the signal line and sitting at around 43 on the RSI. So we had that impulse up, starting to consolidate, sitting out of that 20 MA, still making positive momentum, no signs of decreasing right now, and sitting high on the RSI at 61. I'm not going to chart the pattern here because it's hard to see, and I much rather look at it on the 1 hour. Okay, cool. On the 1 hour. What do we want to chart here, right? If we go here, we would be making basically a downsloping triangle, which could be neutral again, break to downside or upside. However, if Bitcoin drops dominance tomorrow again, we could potentially see price action to the upside. About to get a cross of the MACD over the signal line or under the signal line. Again, could potentially mean price action to the, if we cross, potential price action to the downside, maybe testing that 20 MA before we actually test that downsloping resistance that we had and confirming it as support. We haven't done it yet. We broke out of it and we haven't come back to touch it. And right now we're sitting around 62 on the RSI. We also, like with everyone else, we went into overbought, and right now we're just sitting at basically bought high on the bot scale, but not overbought, right? And we haven't actually gone back into the more neutral zone. If we were to break to the upside again, could potentially go run a major move, which could put us touching that top part of the Bollinger Bands, and that'll be it for Litecoin, right? On to Binance. Now, Binance Coin suffered one of the worst losses this year, right, on May the 7th, when hackers stole 7,000 Bitcoin. This costed the exchange 40 million. That's fine. They repaid people, and that's pretty good that they covered the people whose Bitcoin was stolen. And basically, this article goes on to say that 4 months later, it just appeared that everyone had forgotten about the security breach, right? Binance is just as popular as ever, right? And basically, the token rallied to its 2019 high of $39.59 1 month after the theft, basically. So despite sliding back to $21, Binance ranks as the best performing of this past year, right? The 1 year surge to date was 123%, almost double that of Bitcoin, which was 67%. Now, if we go from the low, which was $4.66, we would have been making maybe 5 times, right? So 500% increase from that low of December. And we can look at it in the chart in a second, right? We've talked about this before. Basically, if you guys don't know, or for those of you that don't know, Binance Coin is a utility token used by the Binance exchange and basically the users, right? And you get benefits when you use it, right? If you purchase or sell with the Binance Coin, you get better rates, or you get better rates when you purchase or you sell your cryptos, right? So basically, you have reduced trading costs, right, and listing fees when they use the crypto token to pay the services. Now, Binance continues to attract more users and expand its services. We certainly have covered the features that they have, both platforms that they launched, and we've also talked about Binance X and Binance US and Binance US dollar they're gonna launch. You know, they certainly are pushing to be or to dominate most of the services that can be offered on the crypto industry, right? And that's pretty good. I mean, I do believe that Binance is playing a stronger role, or at least moving faster than Coinbase is, because they are offering a lot of benefits, right? Coinbase, I'm not sure they have their own coin. I haven't used them in a while. I do have an account with them, but I'm not sure if they're offering like their coin where you can get a benefit from using their coin to trade, right? Like reduce rates. Anyways, that's the last article we have. We're just gonna look at the Binance chart and then we'll just sign off, if no one has any questions, Let's go look at that chart. What is going on with Binance? Let's see, dominance on the daily. Yesterday had a red day, lost 0.38% dominance. Right now, gaining some dominance, 0.41%. Basically, we just made up what we lost yesterday, right? That's where we're sitting at. Let's look at Binance, right? We had a nice day yesterday, making some positive price action, basically gaining on price. Right now, Binance is sitting at $22.60. Starting to make positive momentum. That's pretty good. We just got that cross of the MACD over that signal line. Not seeing any other divergence than the one we traced here, right? That bullish divergence. That bullish divergence that we traced, this line here and this line here. It wasn't so much on the RSI, but on the MACD histogram we did have it, and that's fine. Was sitting below at 20 MA, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands. We could run to the upside potentially. We are seeing around 39 on the RSI on that sold, right? Bottom part of that sold on the scale. If we run to the upside again, we might see some resistance from that 20 MA, and then if we keep on going up, some resistance from the channel. And if we break up above that channel, we could see certain resistance from the Bollinger Band as well. On the 4 hours. This is not what everyone else did, right? Here we had an impulse down, then upsloping consolidation. That we don't want to see that. That is bearish per se, and actually I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna use a trend line because this might be an up. It could be a slightly upsloping wedge, not quite a triangle, right? Upsloping wedge. Again, upsloping wedges usually mean potential price action to the downside. We are making less positive momentum, and it's just starting to get really low, right? We are getting some contraction on the Bollinger Bands, but not very much. After that expansion that we hit, they just more or less have kept open, and it's mainly from this large move to the upside and this canceling move to the downside. So we have been consolidating sideways for a while now. sitting at 54 on the RSI, which puts us around neutral. Again, could run to the upside or downside. Right now it's not very well defined, and it's basically going to follow the market, right? Bitcoin or the other alts. Let's see, I'm going to fix it here to get better touch points, because the 4 hours, it doesn't give me the best touch points, and when I change the charts, it just moves everything. We get better touch points here. I like this. We're getting some contraction of the Bollinger Band, sitting above that 20 MA. We have been bouncing off it, right, for a couple days or a couple hours, so could certainly be good for us. Something I'm not liking here is that we're making the same, more or less the same height than here, and we're making less positive momentum. That would be bearish divergence, right? And could see potential price action to the downside if we don't keep on pushing to breaking this upsloping structure. Like I said, upsloping wedge usually potentially means price action to the downside, and having this bearish divergence develop could again potentially bring us to the downside. Just keep it in mind for your trades. And then again, we're sitting quite neutral on the RSI at 57. That will be all for today. Hey Shamel, thank you for watching, man. If anyone else is in the chat, I noticed that we had people come in and out. Like, we were going up to like 9 people, 4 people, 6 people. You know, if you are here and you're watching us and you want to say hi, you know, you can do so. That's what the chat is there for. We really want to get a community going. We want to keep on chatting with you guys and basically solve questions that you might have, that we could have, and basically have this grow and be a part where people can come and basically just discuss cryptocurrencies without, you know, having fears of not knowing or feeling left out or anything, right? We really want to get this to be the best, one of the best communities for cryptos, right? Anyways, if there's no questions, I will leave the chat open for a couple of minutes, and then I will basically end the stream. So yeah, again, wow, we just went up to another watcher. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like I'm saying, so if there's no questions, we are basically gonna call it a day. If you just started watching us and you don't know what we do here, we basically cover cryptocurrency news. We look at some charts and see how the market is going. And if you want to learn more, you can stick around and ask questions, or you can catch us on the next stream. We're here daily, and we would love to get this community going. You can join our Discord. We certainly post things there. Today we didn't post anything, right? Saturdays and Sundays during the day are usually a little bit more laid back. I do have a family, and I do like to hang out with them. I do have a real-time job, a full-time during the days, during the week, and you know, I basically just hang out with my family on the weekend. So yeah, if you guys guys have questions, you can either drop them here on the comments or on the Discord. We do have a Discord, like I said. We do drop a lot of stuff throughout the days as news start to develop, and we do encourage our members to send us articles as well, right? We know for a fact that a couple of our members, Sean Christian and others, have come in and dropped us articles throughout the day, and we don't have it to see, like, for example, here and here. And we do open them. We open them first on a side window, and then if they're cool to show, then we'll just put them on the main screen, and we can discuss them, right? We'd have no problem going through information that our members send us, right? Yeah, contraction on the Bollinger Band is happening on Binance. Anyways, guys, that will be all for today. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live. We really want to get this community going again, guys. If you believe that this information is of use to you, your friends, family members, whatever, you know, show them this stream, show them what we do, ask them to subscribe. You know, the more that there's of us in here, the better this community will start doing, and the more questions that we can address, and more knowledge that we can share, it'll be better for everyone. Now, guys, again, thank you for watching. Have a great Saturday night. Go out, have fun. If you're working, or you're watching us from work, or listening to us on your drive home or whatever, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow. Again, thank you for watching.